Ludwig Mies van der Rohe's Seagram Building and the AT&T Building by Philip Johnson are two skyscrapers that have had a major impact on the New York skyline. The Seagram Building, located on 375th Park Avenue between 52nd and 53rd Street in Midtown Manhattan, stands 516 feet tall and embraces 38 stories. The AT&T Building, that is situated on 550 Madison Avenue between 55th and 56th Street, stands 647 feet tall with 37 stories. There are many aspects that highlight the functions of these two buildings. A few examples are the structural functions and the aesthetic functions. The construction of the Seagram Building took place from 1954 to 1958, and the construction of the AT&T Building took place from 1978 to 1984. It was during this time period that there were traces of transformation from postmodernism to modernism, and this aspect is evident when both buildings are compared to one another. As Mies van der Rohe once stated, skyscrapers reveal their bold structural patterns during construction, and only then does the gigantic steel web seem impressive. When the outer walls are put in place, the structural system, which is the basis for all artistic design, is hidden by a chaos of meaningless and trivial forms from the very nature of the new problems. We can see the new structural principles most clearly when we use glass in place of the outer wall, which is feasible today since in a skeletal building, these outer walls don't carry weight. The use of glass poses new solutions. Through the Seagram Building, Mies wanted to express the structure of the building externally. He desired that the structural functionality and utility of the building were to be visible. Since the interior steel frame had to be covered by concrete, he proposed to introduce bronze I-beams to suggest structure, but rather it is the interior reinforced concrete that really supports the building. Structurally, the AT&T Building employs the tube frame in its structure, with the tubular columns tied with trusses at the top to bottom. A few interesting features of this building are the decorative designs, such as the Chippendale silhouette, which caps off the building, and the 70-foot-high entrance arc, which both have true weight and heft. To create an inviting atmosphere, the interior of the Seagram Building, Mies decided it was important to set back the building to allow for a formidable courtyard, in which people must enter through. This courtyard perfectly articulates Mies's organized and rational style, which he incorporated into the design. The ornamental features of the building were the bronze I-beams, which were placed on the outside of the building to carry no load. By placing these decorative beams on the building made costs skyrocket, making this building one of the most expensive buildings in Manhattan at the time. The AT&T Building, with every move that is made, one can't help but gaze in amazement at the monumental features throughout his design. The abstract vision that Philip Johnson so immaculately created is thrust upon each guest as they approach the building, which undoubtedly articulates the characteristics of the postmodern movement. Philip Johnson sought to complete his design with a controversial silhouette which plays no role in the structure functionality or its design fundamentals, but acts as a unique feature that captures the attention and imagination of spectators. Similarities in the design are few and far between. Yet one thing that is hard to overlook is the fact that both of these structures are pioneers in attempting to rewrite the script on how a skyscraper should look. One would argue that these buildings act as a design standard for future developments. Differences between the two buildings become apparent when comparing the elements of each design. For argument's sake, the difference between the two can simply be understood as comparing one era of architecture to another. Modernism sought to relinquish all unnecessary elements to achieve ultimate functionality, while on the other hand, postmodernism focused less on the functionality and more on the aesthetic appeal of the establishment.